What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling optimistic today, Cancer. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just fantastic, Cancer. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy to have yourself a spot here. We're in for an amazing journey. Now, the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in their placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Jupiter, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. I got this hourglass over here, Cancer. I've been really digging it. Hold on. And I do tarot card spreads based off our ruler here, the good old Moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going void, of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, never force reading on a situation, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. Alright, Cancer, your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Actually, I'm going to back you up a little bit there, Cancer. There's great energy all around here. And Cancer, happy Venus Day. Venus is associated with Fridays. Hopefully this is a great day for you to do some self-care there. Cancer, go out there, treat yourself. Maybe take a spa day. Maybe take a day. Go take a nature day. Go take a day to just, maybe take a bubble bath today, Cancer. Treat yourself to a really kind of scrumptious meal. Just doing all those kind of Venusian types of things. This could be something where we're meeting up with some friends. Maybe we go to a museum, maybe an art exhibit. Just something to surround yourself with beauty there, Cancer. Pay attention to like your relationships with art, with colors. You know, like Venus, you know, when you think about her, yes, she deals with personal relationships, but it is a little bit deeper than that. When you get away from the Libra side of that interaction from people, in the Earth exchange, you know, that's a more kind of sensual type of relationship, and that comes with I'm thinking of how you relate to like your surroundings, for example, like with how the temperature feels. Do you prefer like maybe hot climates, you know, or how do you like it humid compared to dry, compared to this, compared to that, you know, like really kind of tuning in there, Cancer. It could be a very mindful day for you. And great day for managing your finances as well there, Cancer. Maybe this is payday for you, so that's always exciting. But also, Cancer, we're in an interesting energy here, and I really kind of like this. We're in the sort of last few days of the lunar cycle before we get into this next really kind of, of course it's a big energy that's going on because there's a lot of things that are lining up with the Cancer, but I feel like it's happening in a more kind of, it's going to be a more kind of subtle build up first. But we're in a waning crescent moon phase in Pisces, Cancer. And when I was kind of meditating on this energy, what I was getting with this, it's almost like I feel how we started off the conversation in this lunar cycle. Oh, interesting. Now on there, Cancer. Thank you, higher self. But when we started off this lunar cycle, it was a very kind of intimate one where there was that new supermoon that was in Pisces. And now I feel that now that we have this kind of like sliver of light at the tail end of this lunar cycle, I feel that whatever was established at the beginning of this cycle is like now we're really kind of getting a peek and into where this is going. But this feels like it's something that you really have to find moments of quiet. So if you can take some time between when this moon enters Pisces until when she enters into Aries, you know, just to take like as much time as you can for yourself, but especially on that moon day. You know, just carve out a bit of time for you throughout any time throughout that day, Cancer. It doesn't have to be at exactly the time that the eclipse is, you know, going to be happening. But some point throughout that day, be intentional. Where do you want to go? And then just sit in that energy for as long as it resonates. And then and then revisit that as it makes sense, and then maybe really kind of sit down with that and kind of elaborate more. But this time leading up to that, I feel is going to be something more of a whisper, which is very interesting when you think about Neptune and Jupiter being these gas giants, but they operate in very, especially Neptune operates in very subtle ways. But we're in an energy with Neptune still being kind of running the scenes and being this kind of powerhouse in her home sign of Pisces, where we really do want to try to tune in, because the last when you even thinking about this too, Cancer, as the moon is moving through Pisces, she's going to be talking with Mars, understanding, energetically what we're letting go, how we're moving in the future. Saturn, she's going to be having a conversation with him as far as like where we're going to be moving forward, what are some things that we need to make peace with, what are some things we're going to move forward with. Then we have when the moon forms with Neptune. I like when the moon forms with Neptune because I feel that that's always a very supportive, almost like higher self kind of, where you're really kind of in. I almost feel like it is like a cosmic hug when the moon and Neptune kind of fuse together. It's a very subtle energy, but I feel it's always meant to be one that's kind of rooting, letting you know that the energies are rooting you on there, Cancer. But I'm kind of painting this picture of how she's moving through this energy, because this is how I feel like we need to sit with ourselves and see how these things are building up. Where internally do we feel these things are going? Do you really kind of tune into the body, allow yourself to relax, to release control to the universe, to have this moment of surrender and intimacy with yourself, and really kind of see what it is that, where do we need to make space? Because I feel that I'm picturing this coming into us coming into this new eclipse portal, almost collectively will be almost like kind of like a newborn, when you see like a newborn animal kind of learning. I'm picturing like a giraffe learning to walk, but or just even thinking about us as humans, learning, going through this human experience, learning to walk, and in all of this. There's a very intuitive side that's coming. I was listening to a podcast the other day that was talking about how the body already does so much for us without us having to tell it, from moving the blood around to pumping the heart to digesting food to doing all the things that it does. So now I feel like it's allowing that trust a little bit further, a little bit deeper, but it's like there's a message that's coming through there, and it doesn't necessarily have an expiration date, but I feel it's like it's nice to read it when you're in in the comfort of your own space, where you can have a nice and maybe a little warm beverage there, and maybe cuddle up in a blanket and kind of and talk with higher self, as opposed to maybe having the same experience, try to read these messages, but in like a football field, for example, well, not in a field, but like in an audience or something like that, something, the opposite of this peaceful thing that I was trying to build there. So just something I feel like to really kind of think about and meditate on over these next few days there, Cancer, because things are changing. You may have been feeling this internally. And again, when we get into a lot of heavy conjunction energy, it's just like the energies are infusing into this part of your chart and is activating this point. And it's just like, what do we do with this ball of energy that is coming through there? And what are these kind of subtle messages that are coming through? So, and if this is something that you're curious about how this is working in your chart there, Cancer, see where these eclipses may be lining up for you, or how the moon traverses through your sign, book a reading with me. Astrology is something that really fascinates me, and I can, ask any of my friends, I can talk about it ad nauseum. But it is, because there's so much to unravel, to learn about yourself. You are very nuanced, and there are different themes that you are going through the year, and how and even how you show up in a certain light, how that can change the flow, and just even kind of playing around with some energies. Like, for example, working with your solar return. My my rising sign in my solar return is in Taurus, which, my rising sign is normally in Leo. So it's been interesting to kind of view this year from the lens of and channel this energy through that Taurian energy, and having to understand what that means, and kind of understanding too what I value and how I put that out in the inner, and how I translate that energy out in there. So, and it's actually almost in a square with my natal ascendant. So it's fascinating how that stuff can work out, or how it can maybe feel a little uncomfortable, because it's been one where I've been trying to go at a more casual pace as well, been trying to stay grounded in a lot of, it was actually kind of fascinating trying to find this security in seeing this lens through Taurus. And this was a very kind of, I don't want to say tumultuous, but I did a lot of moving in this time. And so to have to try to keep that Taurian stability and keep that in there, it's like, it keeps that in mind, that it's like, helps you go through these experiences differently, so and show up more intentionally, as opposed to, okay, but if this is something that resonates with you, and you can even see where these eclipse points are even showing up, where I may have mentioned that this eclipse is going to be taking place is going to be conjunct my, where Chiron is on my chart, at a pretty tight conjunction. So, this is, and actually is happening in the 12th house. So this can, again, astrology doesn't tell you what to do, but it helps you to get prepared and to understand the tools that you are working with, and where you may have been leaning into one energy one way, and it's like, what if we try doing this a different way? I've Cancered in the 12th house, this one chunk of my life this way, and now I'm showing up in a different way, and it has been vastly different from where I've used to operate. So, and hopefully that can bring the same change for you. And I have links down in the description box below with all that information down to book that with me, and also on my Instagram page as well there, Cancer. So definitely check that out. But also, Cancer, this is this readings that I do, they're not, I still got to work on that transition, but these readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings. So apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And then the decks that I'm working with, I've included links to them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below some links for some other readers that I enjoy watching their, Cancer. Definitely check them out. They're a fantastic group. I have really great energies that they bring. Talk about Pisces energy and intuition. They're a whole bunch of powerful group of psychics. Then there's some astrologers, and then a bunch of goodies down there, Cancer. I have links, and I'm going to be building on that. I'm going to be adding some books and some other things down there as well. So I'm starting to crack down. I've had some other pieces behind the scene that I've been kind of working through, but we're getting there, Cancer. But let's go ahead and get into your general energy of the day here, because you have the koi fish spirit. And I think we've had this one before there, Cancer. And this is a card of there is always enough. And Cancer, I feel that this spirit, and I love that this is coming up here with Pisces. So when this energy that's coming up, I feel, is very different, because it's this energy of, it's in such an individual energy, or individualistic sign of Aries, but the message that is coming through is coming in a more sort of using that individual strength for others. And I feel that when they're saying that there is always enough, I feel like this is, because I remember someone saying to me once that they don't have, the topic that we were talking about is kind of eluding me, but the statement they had made I found very fascinating, was that I don't have enough compassion for whatever the situation was. And it's just like, I mean, if that's the intention that you set, then so it will be. And I know that may sound, kind of like, oh, well, whatever, but it's true. If we tell ourselves we don't have enough confidence, or that we don't have enough of this, or that we don't have enough of that, or then we won't have enough. Even if, and I'm even saying if we be like, oh, well, like even if I'll never have like enough money for even, and probably another big one. There's always enough. And what I mean by that is, I mean, then you're probably like, well, this is not here right now, but it is there in general, you know. And I feel like we've gotten into this place where we have gotten so used to that instant, to have to, you know, even thinking about just like from Amazon to the internet, to all types of things. We're so used to having stuff just like now, now, now. And then when we don't see it immediately, then we think it's not there. You know, then it doesn't exist. Like it's not meant for me. But what's meant for you will always be there for you. You know, and there's always enough of this. You know, we may feel like there's never enough time, even, you know, to get whatever it is done. Well, we may not be able to get it to where we had hoped, we had dreamed we were going to get it to, Pisces energy, but we could at least start getting that fulfillment of working towards that thing. And I feel like maybe sometimes that maybe when we realize working towards a goal or something along those lines is going to take however long, that it can be disheartening, you know. And the reason I feel Pisces energy can get that sort of escapist sort of labels, that Pisces does have a very vivid imagination. It is one that does see really great potentials in things, and then when you get in this realm and it's not that mystical, or it's not that wonder, loses that wonder a little bit, then it's sort of like, then they're, you know, disillusioned, and that can be disheartening, can be disenchanting, and that's can be heartbreaking, you know, when you go through that type of energy. But I feel this energy is just, it's interesting too how we went from the whale to the koi fish now. And I feel like that's, we were talking, that was higher self talking, that ancient energy I was talking yesterday. And now we're in, this is us kind of going through the pond, kind of getting in the flow of things. Because there is always enough there, Cancer. And I feel like this is reminding you that wherever it is that you're trying to get your journey to, you know, we may need to get a little imaginative. We may need to get creative. Circumstances, of course, color a situation. But I feel leading up to this Aries energy, it is reminding us where there's a will, there's a way, and that we don't have to do it by ourselves as well. You know, where, you know, for example, I'll get into the tarot here, Cancer. One thing I appreciated about a past friendship that actually just ended, and in a current one that actually just kind of started back up again, that I appreciate the amount of earth energy that both of them have. Granted, the strong air in me sometimes wants to move faster. But earth energy is, I have so much heat too, and I'm just ready to, I have all these passion, all these ideas, but it's just like I have troubles grounding them sometimes. And it's nice to have that practical energy around there. So it's like when you don't feel like you have enough of something, then that's where we look to other as well. And you know, we bring strengths together. You know, I can bring that inspiration, that creativity, that motivation and things, and then they can help me ground this stuff, and then we got work like a well-oiled machine there. You know, it's like, look at, I like how this is kind of thinking too here, Cancer. Here's one half of the fish here, Pisces. You know, you got this part here. And now, but I feel like this is the time to kind of find you and find, let me get some tarot on this, Cancer, and get some details here. Because now every time we get into like this Pisces energy, it always gets very mystical, and I'm with it. Interesting. Get yourself. Let's see what's going on here, Cancer. Love that. All right, Cancer. So you have the Two of Moons, the Two of Swords, and the Strength card in reverse. That's Leo energy. And then you have the Seven of Moons and the Knight of Swords upright, Cancer. And that's very interesting. You know, the first thing that's kind of coming through here, Cancer, with the Strength card in Leo, I was reading somewhere about planets and where they're exalted not too long ago, and I had read somewhere where Neptune was exalted in our sign, but I saw somewhere too, and I more so am kind of leaning towards this too. I feel like that's resonating a bit stronger, but I saw where it's saying that Neptune is exalted in Leo, and I feel like that does make a lot of sense when you think about that relationship even between the sun and Neptune. Even though Neptune is so far away, Neptune invites this energy of imagination. There's Neptune energy can be one where it's almost the exact opposite of that there's always enough. There's sometimes it can may even seem like it's too much. And I feel I bring this up to say, Cancer, that this is a time where I feel we have to really pay attention where we focus our thoughts, focus our energies, focus. You see this sword and this pen and this feather here. It almost reminds me of like a quill, or like the pen you would dip like the feather in the ink. And I feel like this is, Seven of Moons, options. If you tell yourself there's not a lot of options, then so it shall be. But all we're doing is selling your strength short, Cancer, is what I feel the Strength card being in reverse here, and you're limiting your options because there are maybe some emotions that we're needing to deal with possibly here. Maybe there are some thoughts that are going on here. There's some reasons for this indecisiveness or this whatever this is. And again, Cancer, with this there's always enough, because that gives me like a very Five of Pentacles type of energy. And where I understand where we could always want more, we could always want this, but sometimes you have to go with what you're working with. I feel with this Seven of Moons here, where sometimes I love having a moon in Gemini. I would love it if there's times it's like, I wonder what it would have been like if I was born like a couple minutes earlier, I would have had it at maybe 29 degrees of Taurus, and maybe it would have been a little more grounded, and maybe not so all over the place. But such is the hand that you're dealt. But so it's like, how can I turn maybe this weakness into a strength, and then instead of it being where it's a hindrance? So, Cancer, this is one where pay attention to that. But I even feel too, with the Two of Moons, I feel the relationships that you're with, pay attention to the relationships that you have formed as well there, Cancer. Seven of Moons can be a very dreamy, kind of escapist type of energy too. It's my prelude to a devil moment. And this is this Two of Moons, Seven of Moons here, Venus energies. This is Two of Moons, Venus and Cancer. Seven of Moons is Venus and Scorpio. And there's something here about the relationships that we're in, that Venus and Scorpio, if we're not careful what we're attracting, then that's going to limit the abundance as well there, because it's something that maybe you're feeling that's not necessarily yours. It might be other people's, and that's where we talk about that kind of void of course energy, cleansing your stuff. Saturn and Pisces being more responsible with our energies and how we're exposing ourselves and what is actually ours. Sometimes, Cancer, we can, I feel water energy can get so inside of itself that you have to take a moment and see what is going on externally. Okay, what feelings are actually real? Where is this coming from? Is this something that is mine, or is this something that I've picked up maybe from something from work, something from a partnership, maybe you have someone else who's feeling some sort of stress, and then that's brought up something inside of you that maybe is needing to be dealt with, but it's it's been exacerbated in the way, but it's like, why is it coming up? It's, but this, Yeah, let me get some more on this Cancer. You hear yourself? All right, Cancer. So you have the Three of Moons, the Ace of Moons, the Four of Stars, the Knight of Stars, and the Page of Stars upright. And then you have the Star card in reverse here, Cancer. This is Aquarius energy. And that's interesting. Because the Star card is giving me, when the Star card's in reverse, there's something that's needing to be looked at, something that's needing in ourselves, that's needing to be healed. Something, when we're thinking about the Star card being Aquarius energy, I feel that that's something that has been damaged, but it's been through some sort of external thing where something outside you went to, because Aquarius is the energy of testing who you are and putting who you are in front of the environment. And so maybe, and I'm broadening this, there is always enough, because then I feel like maybe there's an energy here too that's coming through of like, are we enough? So that's a very interesting energy that's coming through here as well there, Cancer. So, this energy with Chiron, and you may have already noticed stuff has been already maybe kind of bubbling up there, Cancer, and something's been kind of peeking out through the surface here. Something I feel with the Four of Stars. The Four of Stars can be like this card of savings, and I feel like, but I always picture like a bank vault when I think about the Four of Stars. And sometimes I feel this is there's something that's trying to break out of the bank vault. There's like this, something that we may have been locked away, but there's this energy that's seeping through the cracks here. And I feel like that's what this Chiron may be bringing up for you to maybe heal with this energy, with the Ace of Moons popping up here, Cancer. But this is, I feel like, a new energy with the Four of Swords and this kind of Page of Stars to Knight of Stars. A energy with the Page of Stars here to initiate some sort of, get grounded in that energy and see what or how it's wanting to be tended to there. And then the Knight of Stars is getting in this game plan, figuring out what that routine is going to be looking like. Because even when, and I'm going to talk about this more on Monday when we get to this, but when you think about Chiron, there's this, I was listening to this podcast that was talking about making this association with Virgo being the sign that Chiron is guardian over. It has guardianship over, along with Mercury. And I like that, because Chiron is something that we do need to tend to on a daily basis, that we can, we learn different skills to tend to it. And in that, we can take those newfound skills, because you wouldn't have learned those skills otherwise, and we could even transfer those to others. And that's what I feel this energy is going to be. In doing that inner work, we can do healing for us. But I feel it's something here about there's always enough. There's always enough of whatever you feel like you're lacking. If this is more confidence, this is more this, whatever this focus is that you're trying to go, you do have enough of what it takes to get this thing accomplished. And there is always enough support, always enough this, because it starts within. And that can be hard, I feel, with the Star card being here, where we want to have people around us. And it's not to say that you can't, that you won't do stuff by yourself, or, that you won't do things with others, because we got Three of Moons here. We have people that are supportive of you. But I do feel like that we're not coming into relationships of all kinds thinking that people are going to they're going to bring more, but you will always bring enough. You will always have what it needs to. And then yeah, hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down there, Cancer. Well, let's get some advice from Neptune and Jupiter. All right, Cancer. Last little bit here. All right, so you have the Eight of Wands, the Eight of Moons, and the Page of Swords in reverse. And then you have the Seven of Wands and the King of Moons upright here, Cancer. And let's switch back over. Because I feel that the Seven of Wands is this energy of needing to protect yourself, and not like you're in any danger, Cancer. I mean more so just kind of energetically make sure to protect yourself, and especially from when we get into those places where you may start to spiral, where there is, because Seven of Swords is, I feel like the Seven of Swords, Seven of Wands, it's giving me this energy of needing to learn how to ground yourself when the energies aren't moving as fast as you want, or where I feel like it's like this Page of Swords is where maybe a certain idea isn't coming together, possibly here, Cancer. But what I feel this Page of Swords too is offering a new way of thinking, because it's like this Eight of Moons is giving this energy of having troubles, like there's a certain tendency that maybe is having trouble being let go here. It's like it's somewhere where you may feel may feel stuck, or may feel like where, or maybe this feels like there's something where this could be, maybe there's some sort of like a just like a PTSD or something, where because the body always remembers those things, and it's like there's like maybe a certain idea that hasn't been maybe put to rest yet here, Cancer, with this Page of Swords, Eight of Moons. And this could be where the times when you didn't have enough, or where you didn't feel like something was always enough, even. You know, but I feel in those times, Cancer, it's very interesting when I was talking about that relationship with the fish, but I feel like there's there's times where you feel alone in these thoughts, in these ideas. It's one, know that we're all collectively going through something like that there, Cancer. And I feel the moment that we really kind of embrace that things would change a bit differently. Like it would be very fascinating. I'm excited to see what that looks like. But I also feel like that is an invitation too, is that remembering that that other half is in, with Pisces, there's one fish, their duality, like with Gemini. There's one half that's in this material, and then that other half is in the divine realm, Cancer. So remember that you always have that connection with Source, even when things feel like when hope is feeling like a little waning there, but there's always enough. And I feel like that's a big one too, Cancer. There's always enough hope, or at least there can be, and this come from me, who's got a Jupiter in a very, very, very close, in a very powerful point there. Like I can't help but be optimistic. Even when I want to be a little pessimistic, because there's sometimes, it's I talk about Jupiter squared my Pluto placement, and so it can be hard to keep the faith in where this journey can take us sometimes. Believe me, you know, my square's happening in between Jupiter and Leo and Pluto and Scorpio, so Pluto's got a bit of an upper hand there, but it's one that, you know, you can always find it. But if I feel like if I can get out of that place there, Cancer, you can absolutely can too. But all right, Cancer, I think I'll leave that there. So if that resonated with you, if you like that, Cancer, give it a thumbs up and share this, Cancer. If you know someone who's either, because, you know, if this is like, in the Five of Pentacles didn't show up, but if this is like a financial thing, just for example, you know, sometimes we have to cut back on things. We got to get creative with stuff. You got to get, you know, and it's not always comfortable, and it may not make sense in that moment. And, you know, I was listening to someone and they were talking, and I was talking with someone about this too, where it's like you'll trust this intuition and you'll make these decisions, and then something happens in the micro, in the short term, that doesn't feel so great. It's just like, oh, well, why my intuition, why is doing this, you know? But then I feel like it's like, I don't know, like things shift and things start making sense over time. You just kind of learn to, but share this, Cancer, and then subscribe there, you King of Moons. Hit that bell button, get notified of all these videos each week. And then last little bit there, Cancer, if you have, after we get done checking your chart there, if you can come over to my other channel and we can talk. Wow, I could have did that whole sentence better. Come over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do weekly videos talking about the weekly aspects that are going on. And this is something, again, Cancer, if you're wanting to know how those transits are working more intimately with your charts, what sort of more long-term transits that you might be going through right now. Maybe you're having a kind of a lighter time, or maybe this is a pretty stacked outer month, or even, you know, whatever that might be kind of looking like. Pluto has been trining my moon placement for a minute. You know, he's getting ready to do, I think he's hit it like 5 times. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, about 5 times. Yeah. So, you know, this is good to kind of know when these sort of things are going on there, and how you can work with this stuff. The first one was tricky. Second one, smoother, a lot smoother. Third one, you know, we'll see. We're doing okay so far. But yeah, this is good to check out that stuff, or at least helps prepare for that stuff, Cancer. And then, yeah, all the housekeeping, Cancer, is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here. Ooh, so I can get you out of here, Cancer. And you got the Ten of Wands upright, Cancer. And the Ten of Wands is heavy. You know, the Ten of Wands is feeling burnt out, feeling that you're at wit's end, that you don't have any more to give. You know, that there's not enough. You know, but again, Cancer, in those moments, I do feel that is a time to pause, you know, to kind of make sure the King of Moons, I don't know if I went into that real hard, but to take care of yourself, you know, to be mindful of your emotional needs when you're not, and let me get your other oracle card here, but when you're not feeling this energy, Cancer, or when you're feeling down, take some time for yourself. Because in order to, with the Ace of Moons, you know, you are a bottomless well of love, but you got to make sure to replenish that well. If you're just giving and giving and giving all the time, and not, eventually that well will run out of water. And so you got to make sure to tend to that reservoir. And even with that Strength card, you know, that's vital energy that you're working with there, Cancer. So yeah, just be mindful of that. And even too, just even kind of flipping that wordage a little bit. Be mindful of, Cancer, when you say there's always enough, like, oh, if I just push through, if I just do this, about over pushing yourself to the brink. You know when to say when, and when you need to take a break, when something is too much, when you need to pull back. This is physically, emotionally, spiritually. When you've had it, you know, you're just like, I'm at capacity, and that's okay, you know. But you know, you want to be mindful of that, because there could be that with Pisces sometimes that need to overgive. So you want to be, just be aware of that, Cancer. You're welcome, Cancer. You'll see why I say that in a second. Thank you yourself. So you got the thank you card here, Cancer. I love that. And this is a card of gratitude and appreciating what's sustaining you. Because Cancer, there's always enough. Thank you, universe. Absolutely, there's always enough. So, Cancer, what a lovely thing to end on. When you feel there's not enough, tell the universe, thank you for what I have. You know what? I can't seem to get any more abundance because you've showered me in so much. Let me process what I'm here. Look at me asking for more. I got all these gifts I haven't even opened yet. It's like when I think we had talked about this, Cancer, where we were talking about being playful with the universe and being playful with the energies. And sometimes that's what you have to do. It may not 100% be genuine, but at least you're putting it out there. Oh, and look at that. Talk about that, Cancer, and then the camera switches over. So we just keep going, and you keep it moving. But I'm going to take that as I'm still looking over here. I'm going to take that as a pointless move, as a time to wrap up here, Cancer. So thank you, universe, for giving me the signal to move on. And Cancer, you stay mindful out there. Stay aware. Stay growing, Cancer. Keep eyes on the moon. Feel her, Cancer. Trust that intuition always. And I will catch you. This is so silly with this camera. On the next. And I'll catch you on the next one, Cancer. Moon Day, when we start the new lunar cycle. I hope you're excited. I am.